Now, I don't want to embarrass the young man sitting opposite me, but the word legend in sport is a cliche. It's used all the time. I think in this instance, we're justified to say a legend is sitting opposite us today, live on Sportsvibe. I won't even say surname, Sir Viv.
No,
Viv.
We're casual.
That's all you need to say.
Relaxed today.
That's all you need to say, Viv. Viv Richards, of course, the man who I don't even know why we like this guy, because he absolutely murdered the English throughout the 70s and the 80s.
The people in Somerset knows why.
People in Somerset and Glamorgan. That's true.
That's right.
But Viv, here we are. It's not a particularly warm day. We're sitting overlooking the Surrey Sports Park in Guildford. So why, Viv, are you here?
Well, I'm here basically as I was given an opportunity in Melbourne, Australia, to be part of the Antiguan delegation where the Commonwealth Games were concerned at the time. And I was asked again to be part of that whole procession in Delhi. We left Delhi, so now we're here and we're basically preparing also. That same committee is preparing for 2012.
Now, everybody, and I mean everybody, knows you as one of the world's greatest, some will say the greatest cricketer of all time, but not everybody would know that actually you're a huge all-round sports fan, and indeed, and you were certainly an all-round sportsman. Perhaps you could talk a little bit about your love in general for sport, and also some of the sports that you played.
Well, I've played basically some football, soccer to some.
You did more than play some football, come on.
And thoroughly enjoyed that.
You played for Antigua, didn't you?
Antigua also.
Yep.
Played basically some qualifying rounds, World Cup rounds and things.
What position were you, by the way, Viv?
I was a sweeper.
Okay. Franz Beckenbauer.
Yeah, I always love to be the last act of things, at times, and I've always loved and appreciate seeing athletes at their very best, highly tuned athletes, because in our little small way as a cricketer, I've always felt that I was at my fittest, and in order for you to go and accomplish certain things, there are certain things which you would like to accomplish, notably being solid in mind, where your concentration is concerned, the fitness in order for you to get to whatever level that you would like to become, as you mentioned earlier, being okay where these whole cricket matters are concerned.
Well, you've just come back from the Commonwealth Games in Delhi, Viv. How did you find the games, and also how do the Indians find you? Because if there's one sport the Indians like, it's cricket. So what was the experience like for you?
Well, I do feel at home when I go to India, because, as you say, cricket is a religion in that part of the world, and even though I would have retired in 1992, people still adore what you would have achieved, and I can appreciate that. Every athlete, I believe, prays for that period, not just maybe when you're playing, but after you would have played and in retirement, to be still loved. And I do feel that when I go to India, I came back here and same sort of stuff. The welcome which we had here in Surrey was just basically second to none.
Now listen, whilst you were in Delhi, Sachin Tendulkar passed 14,000 runs, knocked up yet another double century. A lot of people talk about Lara, Tendulkar, Steve Waugh, Ricky Ponting, Viv Richards, obviously Don as well. What's your take on the little master Tendulkar?
Well, it's someone who I have admired for many years, not just maybe as a cricketer, but how humble he is with such especially legendary status at his particular point. I did see some of those knocks over in India and take time out to have a look at the little master, as you would have mentioned. And to me, just judging for the lifespan of the individual himself and see how long he would have gone on. We would have seen the aggressive side early on when he was a much younger individual. We now see him at 37, adapting a different role, playing the anchor where Indian batsmanship is concerned. To me, the guy is, there's no stopping at this point. And as I've said on some of the interviews that I did in India also, that he's the perfect example for any young man wanting to prolong their career, regardless of whatever sport you play. To me, he sends the signal that here's a guy you could take a good lead from.
Well, Viv, Ashes coming up very soon. Any thoughts, any ideas on... I mean, you're used to playing for teams that, well, as Alex Stewart said to me today, England did well to get 0 against the West Indies when you were playing. But now, what do you think?
Well, I tell you, it doesn't smell that good for England going down to Australia, because I think the Australian pride would be hurt, especially losing 2-0 to India. We know that Ricky Ponting and his team, they are a tenacious mob, and as they would call you down under, the pums are coming. So they got to be careful. They got to be careful where and if England, in my opinion, needs to go places, you got to start maybe not winning some of these matches away from home, not maybe being. It's great to defend home turf. Everyone likes to do that. But down under, that's when you start becoming great teams, not just maybe the one-off being number 1 or number 2, but consistently doing well and having to go in Australia's backyard to do it. That's going to be a hard task.
Okay, 3 quick things, and we'll let you go, Viv, before it gets too cold here. First of all, I'm sure you don't spend your days patting yourself on the back saying, didn't I do well? But didn't you do well, Viv? Okay. I mean, when you look back at what you did, you must have an enormous sense of pride in what you achieved.
Well, coming from a very small island like Antigua and Barbuda and all the small islands that we represented in the past, yes, you would feel good. Cricket is not being played globally like some other sport, but when you can be part of a collective unit and be the best for long periods of time and consistently doing well during that period of time, yes, I would let you see how happy I can be at times and how fruitful some of these things are.
You never wore a helmet. Now, I was explaining to someone the other day, he was saying, oh, but the bowlers are quicker these days, aren't they? That's why they wear helmets. Well, hello, Dennis Lilly.
Tell me what, who was the guy you were speaking to? The guy you were speaking to, obviously, he was born this morning.
Exactly, Jeff Thompson, Dennis Lilly. Why? I mean, did you have a thing against helmets? Or what was it? What was all that about? Because I mean, that was dodgy, wasn't it? Not wearing a helmet.
It's not about maybe. I've always felt as a batsman you need to be comfortable, and a helmet didn't provide me with that comfort. So you may say I'm mad or whatever the case may be, and I've always said that I had loved cricket with such a passion that if I was to go, I didn't mind going out there, being hurt badly. This is something that I've always made my mind up for. Like take for instance, you got a guy in Formula 1 driver, and yeah, you got to expect to have some accidents every now and again. You just hope and pray that it's an accident that will always allow you to come back, and not for you to be totally depleted when you have injuries.
Final thing I want to ask you, Viv, and please tell me this is true, because this is one of my all-time favourite cricket stories, and it's clean as well. Greg Thomas bounces, you miss the ball, he tells you what it looks like. Next ball, you hit for 6, you say, seeing that you know what it looks like, go fetch it. Please tell me that's true.
Well, guys do put a little dressing to such stuff, but umpires, especially when they go on their after dinner stuff, it's not too far from the truth. But this is what it's all about. I love to compete. I did at the time. I never felt out of place competing. I've always felt that if it's one thing that you can say I was fierce where competing is concerned, I've always backed myself. May not come up trumps most time, but that's how an athlete should feel. You back yourself, not going overboard with thinking that. I've always felt that there were times where it's going to be the opposition, but I didn't want him to know that, because you don't give an inch when competing is concerned.
Well, it's been a pleasure and a complete privilege to be with you today, Viv, and look forward to seeing you back here with the Antigans in 2012.
Thank you so much.